Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today I'm going to talk about a negative experience I had with the iPhone 12. Now, don't get me wrong, this video is not being made to trash the iPhone 12. I'm not going to say that this is a bad phone by any means. In fact, the exact opposite. I love this phone, and I just got it too, and I just want to make this video about a very bad experience I had with the iPhone 12. So, a little bit of backstory. I'll try to keep it as quick as I can, but basically, I had an iPhone 8 Plus before, and it was starting to wear out. You know, the charging port had completely broken. I would have to spend like 5 minutes trying to push any charging cable in there just to get it to charge, and if you bumped it, it would just stop charging. Total pain in the butt. Absolutely hated it. The battery, even though I'd gotten it replaced a year ago, had already gone bad. It would last me like an hour or two at most. It was terrible. Clearly, the phone was wearing out, and after doing a little research, I saw that it was only going to be supported by Apple until like 2022, maybe 23 at best, but clearly when they stopped supporting it, I think it's fair to say that's when it's out of date. Clearly, I was going to need an upgrade at some point, and I just decided to go with it right now. I'm like, well, screw this old phone. I'm going to get a new one. And to save a little bit of money, I didn't go for the latest model. I didn't get a 13 or 13 Pro or 13 Pro Max. I went for a 12. Not a 12 Pro, not a 12 Pro Max, just a 12. So not the exact, not top of the line what Apple's making, but it's only this is just the second to last generation they made. The only one after this is the 13. So clearly I'm getting something that's very up to date, should be supported by Apple at least till 2026, hopefully 27 or 28. This is a phone that is going to last me a long time. And I ordered it from Apple. I'm going to trade in my 8 Plus to get a little bit of money back for it. I still have to do that, but it gives me a little while to do that. So I'm going to trade in my 8 Plus, give me probably about 130 bucks back for it. Oh, I did not mean to do that. Hopefully give me a little bit of money back for it. But anyway, so I get the new phone, I unbox it, I use Visible as my carrier. It's a great deal. It's 40 bucks a month, unlimited talk text data. It's a great plan for someone like me. Very affordable and pretty high speed. But it's a do-it-yourself carrier. There are no Visible stores. You do it all yourself. So when I was ordering the phone from Apple's website, I just selected the unlocked version to work with any carrier so that I could pop in any SIM card and it would work. So the phone comes, I took out the SIM card from my 8 Plus, popped it right into the 12, and it worked straight out of the box. The service activated immediately, texts, calls, data worked straight out of the box, and the iPhone 12 actually has 5G. And I didn't even know that Visible even supported 5G. But since it's on the Verizon network, it actually makes sense. But, so I should have thought about that. But clearly, you know, it has 5G. I'm like, okay, it's great. I used the phone. It worked perfect out of the box. With 5G, I couldn't believe the speeds I was getting. I was getting like 50 megabits per second download and like 20 megabits per second upload. I was getting excellent speeds right out of the box with this new phone. All I had to do was pop in my old SIM card, and I was right on my way. And this phone and everything about it worked great for about 5 days. Today is Monday, and I got the phone it came last Tuesday, and I set it up and unboxed it on Wednesday. Everything works, 5G data, everything worked perfectly right out of the box. Absolutely loved it. Until today, when a very strange issue occurred. I was at work, and I wanted to show my buddy something, and I realized, I looked up in the corner and there was no service, and I got a notification. Let me actually pull up the notification I got right now so I can show it to you. I took a screenshot of it earlier. Basically what it said, I don't know how well you can read that. I'm using a really old, like, crappy iPhone 6S to record this video. Basically, I don't know if you guys can read that, but basically what it says is that there's a cellular issue detected, and there's an issue with your iPhone's ability to access cellular data. I'm like, well, geez, that's not good. So I went into settings to see what it said, and it said, it was so weird when I went to cellular data. So I'm going to show you, when you go to cellular data, what's supposed to happen is this. It just brings up all your options. You can, look at how much data is being used, if you want to use cellular for that specific app or not. That's what's supposed to happen. Instead, what happened when my personal hotspot had disappeared, that option was gone, and you can see I'm supposed to have one because I have it right here. This is the screenshot of the notification I got. All it said was an update is required to use cellular data. I'm like, well, that's weird. Even if the phone's out of date, cellular should still work. And I checked for an iOS update, and I was completely up to date. I was on iOS 15.5, and I was very confused. I'm like, well, maybe they mean a carrier settings update. Okay, that happens. I get that. So I went into settings. I went into carrier. It was weird. One section of the settings menu recognized my carrier as visible, but a different section of settings didn't recognize what my carrier was. It was very bizarre. There was no option to update my carrier settings at all. So I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can update to get my cellular to work. This is very bizarre. It just stopped working out of nowhere. So I did a few basic troubleshooting. I restarted the phone. I reset network settings. Even when I got home from work, I popped my SIM card out. I put my SIM card back in. I restarted the phone after putting the SIM card back in, and it worked for like 2 minutes, and then it stopped working. I'm like, well, shoot, I thought I had it fixed. I'm like, oh, I was just taking the SIM card out and putting it back in. Nope, worked for like 2 minutes. That was it. I'm like, well, crap. The only option left is resetting it, but if I don't have to reset it, I won't. So I just took it to the Apple Store. I'm like, hopefully there's something on the software end they can do to fix it. If they have to reset it, that's fine. Hopefully we should be on our way. So I took it to the Apple Store, met with a technician, and basically she just said, back it up with iCloud, we're going to reset it. I'm like, okay, I kind of figured, but I should probably take it just in case. So backed it up. She restored it and updated it. It was already updated, but she went through the restoration process. I turned the phone back on, set it back up as normal. She said not to restore from the iCloud backup in case it was a software issue that was causing it, and restoring from an iCloud backup might bring that issue back. So I just set it up as a new phone. I'm like, okay, I'll set up my apps and everything again. It sucks, but it's fine. I only have had the phone for a few days. And it worked. And I was on 5G. I was running speed tests. I was trying to send text messages. I'm like, okay, this actually works. It turns out it was just a factory reset. That stuff happens. So she sent me on my way. About 10 minutes later, I had a few errands to run. I get to the next place that I was going, and it had just stopped working. It was weird, because at first, the cellulars just said no service. Like, up in the top, where it says visible with my service bars, it just said no service. I'm like, oh my gosh, not this again. So I restarted the phone. After I restarted it, it worked for 5 minutes, and then it just crapped out on me again and stopped working. I'm like, okay, this is just not what's supposed to happen. And it just said no service at all whatsoever. And every time I'd restart it, it would work, and then it would just stop working again. I'm like, this is very weird. Clearly, the reset did not fix it the way we thought it did. So I had a few more errands to run, and I got some food, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to the Apple Store. Maybe it's like a hardware issue. But this, you should try to think about how frustrated I was, how, I have, people need to, be in contact with me. And there are people like my boss who use Androids that I need to be able to get texts from if I'm not on Wi-Fi. This is clearly this is clearly a terrible issue, not being able to use cellular data. So I went back to the Apple Store, and they were like, you again? I'm like, yep, it's me again. And this time they're like, okay, they ran their diagnostics again, and they're like, yep, it's showing that the cellular antenna is not working. It's showing that it's not receiving signal. They're like, this time we're going to have to replace the entire backside of the phone, which includes most of the components aside from the display. It includes the camera, it includes the cellular antenna. I don't think the battery and hard drive are part of it, but the majority of the components, the whole back glass and the whole components, the camera and the cellular antenna, had to be replaced. And it only took them 45 minutes. I was very surprised at how fast it was. And they were like, hopefully this will work, but we can't guarantee it. Luckily, since the phone is brand new, it's covered under my limited warranty. I didn't get Apple Care because I think Apple Care is a scam. But since it has warranty, they covered it, no charge. This is great. So I just wandered around the mall for a little bit and then went back to get my phone 45 minutes later. They gave it back to me and they're like, okay, we're going to watch you set it up. Just make sure it works. And it did. That's really all there was to it. 5G worked. Everything's data worked. I made sure to turn off the Wi-Fi. I made sure to run speed tests. I called my dad. I texted my brother who uses an Android to make sure he got it. He got it, sent me some text. Everything was fine. I'm like, okay, so it was a hardware problem. They actually fixed it this time. So that's about where I am right now. As of, it's 9:34 p.m. right now. I got out of the Apple store around 8, so I made this video kind of right after I got home. But you can see I still have bars in the corner of the phone, and I've been testing it. Like if I'm gonna go ahead and just show you. I'm gonna turn off the Wi-Fi so we're on cellular. You can see 5G shows up in the corner. Let's go ahead and run a speed test just so I can show you that I'm on 5G. It works, and I'm getting speeds. It's not super great when I'm inside my house. When I'm it's actually not too bad. When I'm in public, I can get like 50 megabits per second. But clearly, I'm on 5G. Everything's working. Text works. Calls work. But I thought it was very bizarre. So this kind of gets to where my actual issue was. And I'm like, this is a brand new phone. Obviously, Apple was great. They took care of it. They were very nice. They didn't even think about charging me since it's under warranty. They knew what they had to do, and they did it. And I was very happy with them. I have nothing against Apple, quite the opposite. But I kind of was thinking, this is a brand new phone. I literally opened this iPhone 12 and set it up less than a week ago. This type of thing should not be happening out of the box. And I highly doubt it came with a good antenna, which then broke. My guess is it was just a faulty, defective antenna in the first cellular antenna in the first place, and it just came like that, and they had to put a new one on. And I'm kind of conflicted as to where I stand on this, because on one hand, this really concerns me. Is Apple making and shipping phones that have defective parts? And if they are aware of it, are they doing anything to resolve the issue, to address it? Now, I can understand, your antenna or something, or Bluetooth, or your camera, or your battery going bad after a few years. After heavy use, that kind of stuff is bound to break, and yes, you are going to need to get that stuff fixed. Eventually, the phone is a very complex device with a lot of technologies in it. I get that. I would expect it to happen after a while. But this phone is 3 days old, 5 days old. I don't know. I can't math today. This kind of thing just should not be happening. And it just concerned me. Now, and I'm still concerned. I'm like, okay, well, when I unboxed the phone, it still worked for 5 days. What if this new cellular antenna that they replaced it with, what if this one only works for 5 days, or 2 days, or 1 day, or 2 months, and then it craps out on me again? I'm genuinely concerned. Obviously, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll update you with the story. But it just, on one hand, I'm thinking this shouldn't happen for a long time. On the other hand, I'm thinking, well, if it's going to happen, have it happen when the phone is new. Have it happen when it's still going to be under warranty, and they're going to have to repair it for free. And my guess is, if it did happen again within, I don't know, however long, and I took it back to Apple, well, it's still under warranty, they'd probably just say, we reset it, that didn't work, we replaced it, apparently that didn't work, so they might just exchange it for a new phone. I couldn't find much about that specific issue on the internet. Someone said that they got that same message with a Verizon iPhone. Apple couldn't figure it out, Verizon couldn't figure it out, and Apple literally just replaced it and just said, we don't know what's going on, we're going to exchange it with a new phone. My guess is that's what they would have to do if this kind of thing happened again. Or they would try to replace it again, and it would keep happening again, in which case, I don't know. That was just a very bad experience, because I was lucky enough that, well, first of all, I was lucky enough that if I needed to, I could get my old 8 Plus out and put the SIM card in it and use it as a phone. That before I traded it in, which I will have to very soon. The 6S that I'm using to record this is pretty much unusable as a phone. When it's not connected to a charger, it pretty much just dies. I'm only using it to record this video. But I was fortunate enough to have a backup phone, and I was also fortunate enough the fact that a lot of the people I text use iMessage. But that's not something when, people need their phone nowadays, like for business reasons, for, work reasons. It's not just because people want one. It's not a want in this society. It's really a need. And the fact that that could happen to you, well, I mean, what if I was in my car? What if I had no idea where I was and I needed a GPS to get myself home? And then I don't have cellular. How am I supposed to do that? Clearly you need a phone, and the scary part being knowing that I could just lose signal like that anytime and have a faulty cellular antenna that could be bad. I don't know. It scares me. I could be a very rare case where this happens in one in every 1,000 iPhones sold, or does Apple know about this? I don't know. That's why it's a very bad experience I had, but the positives being that my local Apple store, which I'm glad to have. I didn't realize just how few Apple stores there were. I'm very lucky to have one just a few miles away from me. But they're really not everywhere. If I didn't have one near me, I probably would have brought it to Best Buy and had it. They probably could have fixed it too. But I was very happy with the way Apple addressed the issue, the way they fixed it. Very happy with them. They did a great job. If the technician happens to be watching this, shout out. You did a great job. Thank you for helping me today. But just on the other hand, it was a very bad experience. Just the fact that it happened, and it's something that, concerns me. But I don't know. I just thought I should make the video, and I need you guys' experience. If this happened to you, if something similar happened to you, if you had a phone or tablet or computer break out on you when it was new, how did the company respond when fixing it? I need to know. I just wanted to share this very bad experience I had today with the iPhone 12, but also how well it was handled by Apple. And also just the fact that I'm a little bit concerned that it might happen again. What if these iPhone 12s just are not made with good parts? What if there is something wrong with the parts that Apple is using? And I would have thought, since this phone came out in late 2020, that they would have been able to address that by now. So I could just be a very rare case scenario. But let me know what you think. I need to know your thoughts, your experiences, your comments, whatever you're thinking, share it with me. I read all the comments on my videos, so all your feedback is appreciated. I'm going to continue to use this iPhone 12. I absolutely love it. It's a great phone. But yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm not saying not to buy the iPhone 12. I think it's a great phone. I think if you want one, like I did, you should buy one. I'm just sharing the experience I had and how Apple responded. I know people have had much worse experiences with how Apple has responded to their problems. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to my experience. Let me know what you have to share. I'll see you guys soon.